because I've really noticed that since I've started, this year, or 2020, when I changed things up and shook things up a bit, that the one-to-ones are really game changers for people. They're really making the difference between what they were doing and what they were halfway achieving to what they really are achieving. It's like, when I am in clinic seeing my clients, although I'm not actually physically in clinic, I don't actually know how to say that. When I'm online seeing my clients, I put them into programs, but I see them. And that's the game changer for them, is seeing them. And it doesn't necessarily matter how many times you see them. That will just depend on the program that you're delivering with your clients. But for these ones, when I see people and they get that one-to-one, then they've done the work. They really are being held accountable, and they're really creating that change within their business. And that's really, really exciting. Hello and welcome. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to your needs, the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business and something clinical each week, you'll get the variety you need and enjoy to stay motivated in practice. Hello, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How are you today? I thought I'd let you know what's coming up with all of the trainings and things that are happening so that you can plan. I do love to plan in advance. I do like to think, how can I fit this in? How can I afford it? When is it going to happen? And when can I take a holiday? So if you're anything like me and you're a bit of a planner, then let's get planning together, shall we? So what have I got coming up? So at the end of July, I'm actually speaking for ProHerb. Now, ProHerb are a wholesaler in New Zealand, and so I'm giving them a webinar on creating programs in practice for the Kiwis. So that is on the 27th of July. And then as soon as I've done that, I'm actually heading into the Pediatric Online Mastery course. So, oh no, I'm not. There's something else tucked in there as well. But that's when I'm going to start launching the Pediatric Online Mastery course, because I'm speaking for ATMS on the 17th of August on Pediatric ENT with nutrition and herbal medicine. So that the 18th is the first day of the live pediatric class. So anyone who's in ATMS or NHAA, it's just dawned on me. I had a mentee say to me, do you give a discount to association members who are in the same association as you? And I thought, why don't I? That's a really good point, because I'm pro-association. I want people to join associations. So I belong to I actually belong to 3 associations, but 2 associations to do with my mentoring. So why wouldn't I give people a discount? So you can get a discount to my courses if you're in NHAA or ATMS, because they're my 2 associations. So the Pediatric Online Mastery course is actually starting on the 18th of August. And on the 17th, the night before, is my webinar for ATMS. And if you're at that webinar and you do join, then you'll actually get the price of the webinar and the discount off the course. Can't be fairer than that, can I? Now, what do we do in the Pediatric Online Mastery course? Well, there's absolutely tons in the course. You wouldn't believe how much I've got in there. So we start out, we talk about red flags and legals and practicals and the development and timelines for children, all right? So we really do. It's 0 to the tweens, all right? Because we have got a little bit in there, we've got a discussion on sperm morphology, just because it's interesting, not because it's pediatrics, but it is really interesting, so why wouldn't you want to hear it? Then we go into, so after our introduction, we've got perceptual development. So because children obviously grow at different rates, and we need to understand that perceptual development and how they should be developing and meeting milestones and the variations within that. So, does birth order matter? Resilience. I always say that I've got a lot of resilience, but what do we need to know about resilience? So adverse childhood experiences, we talk about concept of self and gender reassignment. Now that's really prevalent these days. And so I've been running this course for 5 years now, and that's really significant and something that we really need to understand and talk about and be open to. Then we've got death and dying and how children deal with that, because that's all their perceptions and perceptual development and the things that are going on around them. Then we talk about physical development, and I've got a guest pediatrician who speaks in the group as well, and he talks about developmental red flags. So not just the red flags that we think about, but the developmental red flags. We talk about growing pains, physical development, again the milestones and using the records, potty training. Everybody loves a bit of potty training. And self-esteem. So I've sort of moved that one into the physical, probably perhaps should be in the perceptual, but then again, a lot of our self-esteem is related to how we look as well as how we feel. Then we talk about birth and early infancy. Again, the guest pediatrician is speaking about non-specific presentations. Sore tummies. Then we talk about that, constipation and nappies, nutrition, weaning and feeding difficulties. And then there is a bit in here on vaccinations. Then we do talk about the toxic burden and communicable diseases. And we've got supporting stress in the breastfeeding mother. So that's a guest as well, that's Sarah McLaughlin. Then we've got lots of additional links in there, tons of additional links for reading, for, things you could do on your own. Part 5 is the ENT. So we do talk here about the ENT, and that is very similar to the webinar that I'm giving for ATMS. But with this one, we've also got eczema in here as well, and understanding sleep patterns. Then we've actually got guest speech pathologist in that week as well, and she talks about language and learning difficulties, and that's a really, really interesting discussion, and I learned stuff in there that I just wasn't expecting. So you'll see my stunned face as I interview her. Wow, I hadn't thought about that. That's a brilliant one, that one. Then our guest pediatrician is back with birthmarks, and we've got some discussions on anxiety, holiday first aid kits, herbs and supplements, practical applications, and our guest pediatrician again with illness behaviours. And then at the end, the certificate of completion. So with so much in there, and there is a lot of information in the pediatric online mastery course. So if you're seeing children or you're seeing families, families is the significant portion. Because we'll often see the mum, and she's the first person. Women are more likely to seek help. So the mum is the one that seeks out our help for herself. And then while she's with you and she's talking to you, she then discovers that you will see her children as well. So when we see the children, there's all the practical aspects of seeing children in clinic, and it's not taught in college, and it's not taught in this depth, because I've got a lot of experience. I was a neonatal intensive care nurse and pediatric nurse. I worked in recovery and in hospitals. I worked on wards in pediatrics, and then I did the child youth health course as well. So I've got a lot of background knowledge, and so that's what I'm teaching, but I'm putting it in a way that we can use as the natural therapist. So there's lots of stuff out there that's big picture, because that's what we need that we didn't get when we were in college. And that's a 6-week course. So we meet on 2 Zooms, and the others are Facebook Lives, because of course we have a Facebook group. Why wouldn't you? So, and I've got lots of Facebook groups. Do love a good Facebook group. And my academy has a Facebook group. My graduate mastery program has a Facebook group, and the pediatrics has a Facebook group that's open for 8 weeks. And of course, if you've done the pediatrics course, you're always invited back because you're in the group. So each time it's run, you're there to do it again if you'd like to, or go back over anything that you want to and ask your questions. What I had forgotten to say is in August, I have on the 7th, I have the MHANZ. So that's the Herbalists Association of New Zealand. And so I'm going to be talking in there again about programs and about business. And then I'm really super excited. In September, I'm going to New Zealand. Fingers crossed, touch wood, all of the things will be okay, because the NZAMH, which is different to the MHANZ, they do like to name things the same in New Zealand. I'm there for their conference. So that's in person. That'll be my second in-person conference this year. So that's really, really exciting. And so I'm going to be there for that. I'll be running the pediatric course while I'm away as well, but that's okay because I'll be at my mum's. And those of you who are in my courses and in my groups have now seen my mother's garage, because that's where I work from. I used to work from her bedroom back before my sister moved over for a bit and rearranged everything and put the computer in the garage. So, but hopefully in September it won't be too cold in that garage. Now, in October, this is what I'm thinking about, and it's still being created and it's in my mind. I think it's something we really, really need. And there's going to be a coaching mastermind. So it's going to be 3 weeks. It's going to be an intensive 3 weeks, and we're going to meet twice. Well, if you can, everything's recorded, but we're going to hopefully meet twice a week, 2 evenings a week for 3 weeks. And we're going to really, really sort out how we coach our client with systems. There's going to be everything to go with it. There's going to be all of your paperwork. There's going to be everything that you need to do what you need to do. So there's going to be downloads, intake forms, timelines, templates, referral letters, profiles. You can have my T's and C's and my scripts and practice, cheat sheets, clinic handouts, systems, and program outlines. So it's all going to be there as downloadables. And then we're going to have our intensive course spread over the 3 weeks, 2 group sessions. And you're also going to be offered a one-to-one within a month of finishing, because I've really noticed that since I've started, this year, or 2020, when I changed things up and shook things up a bit, that the one-to-ones are really game changers for people. They're really making the difference between what they were doing and what they were halfway achieving to what they really are achieving. And so, when I am in clinic seeing my clients, although I'm not actually physically in clinic, I don't actually know how to say that. When I'm online seeing my clients, I put them into programs, but I see them. And that's the game changer for them, is seeing them. And it doesn't necessarily matter how many times you see them. That would just depend on the program that you're delivering with your clients. But for these ones, when I see people and they get that one-to-one, then they've done the work. They really are being held accountable, and they're really creating that change within their business. And that's really, really exciting. So I'm in the midst of writing this at the moment. The page for it hasn't gone up yet. I'm looking at my half-created page in front of me, and I just know it's going to be amazing. It is going to be a game changer. It was a game changer for me when I changed the way I spoke to my clients, when I learned to coach my clients, and that's what this is going to be for you. It's going to be that game changer. And as with all of them, as I said, there is now a discount if you're with ATMS or NHAA, because I'd never really thought about it until it was pointed out to me. So on the 23rd of October, those people in the academy, they've got the virtual retreat. Now, we had an absolute blast last year on the virtual retreat, and we're going to have one again this year. I'm going to be slightly more organised with my posting. Last year it wasn't so easy, and we had a good few giggles about the gift pack that got sent to everyone. So this year's gift pack is going to be just a little bit easier for me to send, I can tell you. And I will send it sooner as well, because I sent the other one a bit too late, because postage is really fickle. So it will be sent a little bit sooner as well. So I'm super excited about that. And that's what's happening so far. So what's happening with you? What have you planned ahead? Because I love to plan ahead. I've even squeezed in there a trip to New Zealand, another one at the end of the year with my husband. I'm trying to get over there as much as possible, because my mum's 92. So I'm trying to get to Kiwi as much as I can, to catch up with her after not being able to see her for 1.5 years. But what have you planned? Have you got the diary out? Did you have the diary out? Are you going to have to go back and listen to this one again? I hope so. So, because I would really like to see you on some of my trainings, and, book in a focus call with me if you're not sure, or you don't know, are these things going to fit in? When is she going to do them again? I mean, graduate mastery program, the next intake will be, as usual, end of January, beginning of February next year. And then we'll start the whole process again. But I really do think this coaching course is going to be an absolute game changer for many, many people. So I really want to put this out to the world. So I think we might even have an early bird. Actually, we're going to have an early bird on this one as well when I get it out, when I finally finish developing the page. So keep your eye out for that. Message me I might just do a wait list for it. Maybe we'll do that while I'm still developing it. We will do a wait list for it so that you can think about it. And probably by the time this one comes out, the wait list will be up and ready to go, because I'm really excited and I think it's going to be really, really worthwhile. So that's me. What are your plans? I'm a planner and then a crammer because I have to get things done at the end. But what plans have you got? What have you organised? What's coming up for you? Email me. Speak to me in the groups, message me. I'd love to hear from you. I really enjoy hearing from people who listen to my podcast, and I really love it when you share my podcast with others. I have more and more downloads all the time. My downloads are increasing, and that's really cool when I see that. So do share. Please share. I would love you to share. Anyway, that's all it for me now. I hope you have an absolutely brilliant rest of day, and I will speak to you very, very soon. Bye. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.